The morning is the starting point that sets the pace for your entire day. If you start your morning with laziness and sluggishness, your day will likely remain sluggish until the end. But if you start it with energy and discipline, you will find yourself leading your day rather than your day leading you. Discipline is like a key that opens doors you never imagined existed and puts you in control of your time and your life rather than being a mere spectator. The truth is that our lives are not the result of big decisions we make from time to time, but rather the result of hundreds of small details that we repeat every day. If we leave these details to chaos, they create a life without direction. But if we subject them to discipline, they create a life full of meaning and achievement. Discipline is the difference between those who live on the margins and those who write the lines of their own story. Discipline may seem like a heavy word or even a restriction, but in reality, true freedom is the power that frees you from procrastination, laziness, and randomness. It is what gives you the ability to start when you don't feel like it, to continue when enthusiasm disappears, and to keep going when others stop. It is the silent friend who patiently accompanies you until you achieve your dreams. This book is not about idealism or the pursuit of perfection, but about the realistic path that anyone can take to transform themselves from someone who wishes for change to someone who actually lives it. Here you will find practical ideas and methods to make discipline a daily habit, learn how to reward yourself intelligently, and extend the effects of discipline to your work, your health, and your relationships. It is an invitation to start a new journey with yourself, a journey of simplicity and strength, the result of which is that you become a disciplined person who writes a new story for their life. Before you begin, be sure to click the like button and subscribe, because what you will learn today may be the turning point you have been waiting for. Chapter 1. The Great Illusion. Why not wait for motivation? How many times have you sat waiting to feel the desire to start? How many times have you said to yourself, "When I feel motivated, I'll get moving"? The harsh truth is that this motivation you are waiting for is like a moody guest who comes and goes as he pleases. If you tie your actions to his presence, you will remain stuck in one place. You plan more than you accomplish, and dream more than you achieve. Motivation is like a spark. It lights up for a moment, but it doesn't ignite a lasting fire. Yes, it may give you a strong start, but what happens after that spark dies out? Will you stop? Will you return to square one? This is the big mistake most people make. They think that motivation is the main engine, when in fact it is only a fragile beginning. Successful people don't wait to feel motivated first. They just start doing it, even if they don't feel like it. They write, they exercise, they work, they commit, and then the feelings come later, like a shadow following the movement. This simple rule is what makes the difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who remain merely wishing. Think about your life for a moment. How many projects have you stopped because you lost enthusiasm? How many goals have you postponed because you weren't in the right mood? If you wait for the perfect moment, you are handing your future over to an unreliable, fluctuating emotion. Your dreams are too big to leave hostage to a fleeting feeling. Discipline alone is what compensates for. Discipline means doing what needs to be done even when you're not at your best. It means getting up and moving because you've made a commitment to yourself, not because you feel like it. This is the real bridge that takes you from wishful thinking to achievement. When you understand this truth, you begin to look at life with greater realism. You won't say, "When I feel like it," but rather, "When I start." My path completely changes. Instead of being a prisoner of motivation, you become your own leader. Instead of being driven by your mood, you drive yourself with the power of decision. And here we open the door to the next chapter. If motivation is not the secret, then what is? The answer is discipline, that quiet secret that needs no noise or momentary spark. It is the energy that continues when everything else dies down. Let us now move on to discover the secret and how it can become the backbone of all true success. Chapter 2. Discipline, the quiet secret of success. When you look at the lives of great and successful people, you may think that they had had endless energy or a burning flame of enthusiasm all the time. But the truth is much simpler than that. They were not always enthusiastic, but they were disciplined. They knew that enthusiasm is momentary, but discipline is the constant fuel that does not easily burn out. Think of great athletes like Muhammad Ali or Cristiano Ronaldo. Do you think they woke up every morning eager for grueling training? Of course not. On many days, they hated the pain and fatigue, but they persevered nonetheless. It was their daily perseverance that made them legends, not moments of fleeting enthusiasm. The same applies to writers, scientists, and creators. Tolstoy did not write his timeless novels because he was in a great mood every day. Einstein did not make his discoveries because he was always passionate, but because he continued to research, think, and work with uninterrupted patience. Discipline works silently, away from the spotlight. It is not as exciting as enthusiasm, but it is more consistent and has a more genuine impact. Successful people do not wait for a good mood to start, but start regardless of their mood. Through daily repetition, achievement becomes a habit, and habit becomes a way of life. Discipline is not cruelty to oneself, but a deep love for your future. It is a daily decision in which you say to yourself, "I will not betray my dreams, even if I do not feel like it now." With this small decision, builds great achievements and creates inspiring stories. Perhaps the most beautiful thing about discipline is that it does not require grand rituals or flashy slogans. It is simply doing what you have to do over and over again until it becomes part of your identity. When you become a disciplined person, you will no longer need temporary motivation because your actions are no longer be tied to feelings, but by decision. And here we move on to the next step. If discipline is the secret to quiet success, what is the practical way to apply it? The answer is in the next chapter, Action Before Feeling, where you will discover why you must take action first, even if you don't feel like it, and how the action itself creates the feeling you are looking for. Chapter 3. Action Before Feeling. The biggest mistake many people make is waiting for the right feeling before they start. They say, "When I feel like it, I'll exercise. When I feel motivated, I'll work out all right when I'm in a good mood. I'll study." But the truth is that this way of thinking is what keeps you stuck. Feeling does not precede action. Rather, action creates feeling. Think about a simple moment in your life. How many times have you forced yourself to get out of bed to exercise when you had no desire to do so, but after a few minutes of movement, your body began to feel energized and your mind began to wake up? How many times have you started something reluctantly and then found yourself immersed in it after taking the first step? This is not a coincidence, but a rule. Your body energized and your mind awakened. How many times have you started a task reluctantly only to find yourself immersed in it after taking the first step? This is not a coincidence, but a golden rule. Start working and the motivation will come later. The problem is that we think feelings are the fuel when in fact they are the result, like someone waiting for the engine to warm up before starting the car. The car does not move by waiting, but by pressing the key. Action is your real key. Once you start moving, your mind and body begin to adapt, and motivation is generated from within. Action precedes feeling because it sends a powerful message to your mind. I am serious. I am present. This message opens the doors of energy and focus and breaks down the wall of laziness and waiting. On the other hand, sends the opposite message. I am weak. I am a slave to my moods. Which path would you prefer to take? Imagine your achievements if you decided to always start, even when you don't feel like it. Imagine if every day bore your signature, not your mood. How many habits would you build? How many achievements would you see before you? You would then realize that feeling is not an obstacle at all, but rather something you wait for. Here it becomes clear that discipline is not about killing your feelings, but rather putting them in their proper place. Feelings are important, but they are not the leader, rather the follower. They come after you take a step, not before you move. So don't ask yourself, do I feel like it? Instead ask, am I ready to start despite how I feel? But what about that inner voice that bothers you and interferes every time to prevent you from acting? That voice that justifies, procrastinates, and convinces you to postpone until tomorrow? Here we enter another battle that is no less important: how to silence the voice of excuses. This is what we will discover together in the next chapter. Chapter 4. How to silence the voice of excuses. We all have that inner voice that whispers in our ears us. Today is not the right day. You are tired. Tomorrow will be a better time to start. These are small but powerful excuses that flow into our minds like water and always find a way to convince us to procrastinate. The truth is that excuses do not disappear on their own. We must consciously confront them and break their power. Excuses are clever. They know your weaknesses and dress themselves in logic. They may tell you that it is too hot. You are not at your best. It won't matter if you leave it for today. This is where the danger lies. It seems so convincing that you believe it. But if you think about it a little, you will realize that excuses are nothing more than a cover that protects your laziness and justifies your inaction. The first step to silencing excuses is to acknowledge their existence. Don't say, I don't make excuses, Baal, but rather say, yes, there is an inner voice trying to stop me. Just being aware of this voice makes you stronger because you are no longer fooled by it. It has become exposed before you with no secret power. The second step is to shift your response from discussion to action. Do not engage in dialogue with the voice of excuses because it is skilled at persuasion. Instead, immediately do what you are going to do. And do it. Get out there and perform before the space for excuses expands. The faster you move, the weaker the excuses become, and the more you cut off their oxygen. The third step is to remind yourself of the price. Ask yourself what you will lose if you give in to this excuse. Often the price is greater than you imagine. Postponed dreams, lost opportunities, eroded confidence. Reminding yourself of the consequences will put you back on the right track and strengthen your resolve. With time, you will discover that silencing excuses is not a war that ends, but rather a daily exercise. Every time you overcome an excuse, you build an inner muscle called willpower. This muscle grows with use and makes you stronger in the face of future challenges. But in order to truly conquer excuses, we need a daily weapon that strengthens our power and gives us a different start. This is where morning rituals come in. Those first moments of your day determine its entire course. In the next chapter, we will learn how to create a morning that ignites discipline and allows us to start the day from a position of strength, not weakness. Chapter 5. Morning Rituals That Ignite Your Day. The morning is the starting point that sets the pace for your day. If you start your morning with laziness and sluggishness, your day will likely remain sluggish until the end. But if you start it with energy and discipline, you will find yourself leading your day, not the other way around. That is why building a strong morning ritual is one of the secrets to consistent discipline. You don't need a perfect schedule or a complicated schedule. The secret lies in simple but consistent steps that you repeat every morning until they become part of your identity, such as drinking a glass of water as soon as you wake up, doing a few minutes of exercise, or writing down your goal for the day. What seems small becomes, with repetition, a priceless habit. When you control your morning, you are actually controlling yourself because your actions during the day are what put you in a position of accomplishment or procrastination. That is why the most disciplined people make sure that their first hours of the day are free from chaos and distractions and close to clarity and focus. Think of it as preparation for battle. How you start your day is the weapon you carry with you to face its challenges. A chaotic morning means a confused mind and weak decisions, while a disciplined morning means a clear mind and a spirit ready for victory. Morning rituals not only ignite your day, but also gradually reshape your mind. Every time you choose to start with awareness and discipline, you send a message to your mind. I am in charge of my day. This small message takes root over time and turns into an inner belief that you are in control of your life. You may be surprised by the impact of the simplest habits. A few minutes of reading, a short workout, or even making your bed, these small details may not seem important, but their impact multiplies over time. They not only give you immediate results, but also build a sense of confidence and commitment within you. This brings us to the heart of the matter: the power of small habits. What starts with a simple step in the morning can become the seed of a lifetime of discipline. In the next chapter, we will delve deeper into the secret of these habits and how small, repeated actions can fundamentally change your life. Chapter 6: The Power of Small Habits. In a world that pursues big achievements and quick successes, many overlook the hidden power of small actions. The truth is that greatness is not built by sudden leaps, but by repeated steps that accumulate day after day. Small habits may seem worthless in the moment, but they have the power to shape your entire future. Think of a drop of water falling continuously on a hard rock. At first, nothing seems to change, but over time, the rock is deeply affected. This is how small habits work. Their impact may not be visible today, but it is inevitable as the days go by. When you practice a simple habit, such as reading for 10 minutes or walking half an hour or writing 3 sentences a day, you are charting a new course for your identity. You are not just someone who did something small, you are someone who lives with discipline. This repetition instills in you a new image of yourself, and your image of yourself is what shapes your destiny. The problem is that our minds tend to value immediate results more than gradual accumulation. We want change now, not 6 months from now. But those who understand the power of small habits know that patience is the greatest investment. Great results come as a hidden reward for those who are patient with repetition. The beauty of small habits is that they do not require superhuman effort. They are so easy that you have no excuse to give them up, but they are so powerful that they change your life. The important thing is to choose the right habit and commit to it enough so that it becomes an integral part of you. Over time, you will discover that these simple details are what make the difference between a life full of achievements and a life full of regrets. Success is not a big decision made once, but rather thousands of small decisions that you repeat every day without realizing it. But even with the power of habits, there are difficult days that test your patience, days when you feel heavy, lazy, and perhaps even want to give up. How do you keep going when the road gets tough and your enthusiasm wanes? That's what we'll discover in the next chapter, Dealing with Difficult Days. Chapter 7: Dealing with Difficult Days. Not every day is easy, and not every moment filled with enthusiasm and energy. There are days when you feel the weight of life, exhaustion, and perhaps a sincere desire to give up. But the difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck in their dreams lies in how they deal with these difficult days. not in their absence or presence. The first step is to recognize that these days are a natural part of life. Don't beat yourself up or feel guilty for being tired. Even the strongest people go through periods of weakness. But the real difference is who decides to keep going despite everything, who puts their feet on the road and takes steps, even if slowly, instead of waiting for the obstacle to disappear. The secret lies in breaking down big tasks into small steps. When you feel stressed or exhausted, don't try to do everything at once. Focus on doing a small part that can be achieved now. One step today is better than waiting for the day when you feel completely ready. Also, remember your biggest reason on difficult days when your motivation wanes. Recall your future image. Why did you start? What is the goal you don't want to give up? These mental images give you extra energy and make the decision to continue clearer and stronger. Don't neglect your body and mind. Sometimes fatigue is more physical than mental. A simple movement, drinking water, taking a deep breath, or a short break can restore a large part of the energy you need to continue working. Except that sometimes you are just a human being doing what you can, not what you want. Discipline shows its true power here, doing what you must, even when everything is against you. This daily approach makes the difference between those who achieve and those who stop at the first obstacle. With mastery in dealing with difficult days, we reach a more challenging stage, discipline under pressure. When life pressures you, responsibilities increase and challenges escalate. True discipline appears in the next chapter, we will discover how to stick to our steps and persevere despite all the difficulties. Chapter 8. Discipline under pressure. Life does not always go according to plan. Pressure comes from all sides: tight deadlines, mounting responsibilities, sudden crises, and even small daily distractions that steal your focus. In these moments, the difference between those who succeed and those who give up becomes clear, and the meaning of discipline under pressure becomes clear. The first secret to maintaining discipline is to focus on what you can control. Don't waste your energy worrying about what you can't change. Instead, focus your attention on every practical step you can take right now. Every small decision you make under pressure is a building block for your inner strength. The second step is to simplify the work. When pressure is high, large tasks can become intimidating. Break them down into smaller, achievable chunks. Focusing on each chunk individually reduces stress and gives you a sustained sense of accomplishment. What fuels your persistence instead of killing it is also pressure. Strengthen your support system. Talking to a trusted person, getting advice, or even sharing your goals with those who care about you can ease the psychological burden and renew your energy. Don't try to face pressure alone, as discipline under pressure often requires a balance between individual effort and external support. Deep breathing, short breaks, and organizing your environment are tools that help you maintain focus in the midst of chaos. Discipline doesn't mean pushing yourself endlessly, but rather managing your strength and energy in an intelligent way to continue despite everything. Always remember that pressure reveals a person's character. Every time you maintain your commitment in difficult circumstances, you strengthen your discipline muscles within you. You become more prepared for any future challenge and prove to yourself that you are able to continue on the path no matter the obstacles. From here, we move to a very important lesson. Consistency is more important than perfection. Discipline under pressure demonstrates that achievement doesn't wait for the perfect moment, and that maintaining consistency is what creates real results in the long run. In the next chapter, we will dive into the concept of consistency and how to make it your lifestyle instead of waiting for perfection. Chapter 9. Continuity is more important than perfection. Many people stop themselves before they start because they think that the work must be perfect from the first moment. They wait for the moment when everything is ready, the conditions are perfect, and the ideas are perfect. But the truth is that perfection is an illusion that kills action and leaves dreams waiting. Continuity, not perfection, is what makes the difference. Every small step you take, even if it is far from perfection, is much more powerful than waiting for a perfect day that will never come. What is important is to move, to begin, to continue. The movement itself generates progress, and progress generates confidence, and confidence builds determination. Imagine yourself as a painter in front of a blank canvas. If you wait for all the lines to be perfect from the first attempt, you will never draw anything. But when you start with simple lines, no matter how imperfect, the creative process begins. Every time you add something, the work gradually improves, and with continuity, true beauty appears. This is the essence of discipline. Continuity is what builds results, moments of inspiration, or a temporary feeling of enthusiasm. Every day you do something, no matter how small, is a day in which you bring yourself closer to your goal than any perfect plan that was not implemented. The secret is, inconsistency also breaks the fear of failure when you get used to doing small things consistently. Failure becomes part of the process, not the end of the road. You learn that the most important thing is to move on and start over, no matter the mistakes. This is what distinguishes productive people from others. Here, the strong link with the next chapter appears. Consistency turns into an inner strength when combined with discipline. When daily actions become part of your personality, commitment goes beyond mere duty and becomes part of your identity. From here, we move to Chapter 10, turning discipline into a habit and identity. We will learn how to make discipline a part of you, not just a temporary behavior, and how this transformation creates a radical difference in your life and ensures lasting results. Chapter 10, turning discipline into a habit and identity. Discipline is not just actions we practice occasionally, but a strength that takes root within us when we make it part of our identity. The difference between someone who succeeds temporarily and someone who succeeds consistently lies in this transformation. From someone who is merely committed occasionally to someone who is naturally disciplined without the need for superhuman willpower every time. The first step is to see yourself as a disciplined person. Don't say, "Today I will work hard." Instead say, "I am a committed and disciplined person." This inner language changes your perception of yourself and makes discipline a behavior that stems from your identity, not just a task to be accomplished. Then comes the role of continuous repetition. Every day you commit, even if it isn't perfect. This habit is instilled deeper within you. Over time, you will notice that doing what is required becomes automatic, without internal conflict or the need for constant reminders. Discipline that has become an identity doesn't collapse under pressure or distractions because it is no longer just a daily choice, but has become part of your personality. When you face difficulties, you won't wonder, "Will I commit today?" Rather, you will find yourself committing naturally because that is what you do. This shift also enhances self-confidence when you know that discipline is part of you. You feel inner stability and strength because you no longer rely on fluctuating feelings or momentary incentives, but rather on a fixed rule. You are disciplined no matter the circumstances. The real challenge is to continue before discipline turns into an identity. In the beginning, you will need to consciously commit to pushing yourself even when you don't want to. But with repetition, all of this becomes natural, and you move from the stage of effort to the stage of continuous inner strength. From this point of view, we move to the next chapter, Smart Rewards and Small Victories. We will learn how to celebrate our progress in a way that enhances our discipline identity and motivates us to continue instead of relying only on feelings or big results in the future. Chapter 11, Smart Rewards and Small Victories. Sometimes we forget that the journey of discipline is not all struggle and challenges. There is a hidden power in celebrating small achievements, in rewarding yourself in a smart way that enhances your commitment and reminds you that your efforts are worth appreciating. These daily victories are the fuel that makes commitment enjoyable and sustainable. The first step is to realize that every achievement, no matter how small, is worthy of appreciation. It's not self-absorption or laziness, but an acknowledgement of effort. Writing a page, finishing a task, committing to a new daily habit are all signs of your progress. And every sign deserves a reward, no matter how small. Rewards don't mean large sums of money or huge material things. Sometimes a word to yourself, a great job today, your favorite coffee, or a quiet moment with a book is enough to cement a sense of accomplishment. The important thing is that the reward is directly linked to what you did, so your mind connects effort with satisfaction. These small victories help you clearly see your daily progress, rather than waiting for a huge, distant result. You see yourself moving step by step, day after day. This sense of ongoing accomplishment motivates you more than any momentary incentive and makes discipline a lasting habit. The secret to smart rewards is to reinforce the behavior you want to establish. Every time you reward yourself after a positive action, your mind sends a message that commitment is a good feeling. Enjoy it. Over time, commitment becomes a pleasure in itself and not just a heavy duty. Remember that rewards are not to escape from work, but to reinforce correct habits. They are continuous fuel, not a means of evasion. Whoever knows how to celebrate their small victories consciously can maintain their commitment even on difficult days without feeling pressure or psychological exhaustion. Here we move to the next chapter. Discipline in all areas of your life. We will learn how to make discipline not just a behavior limited to one aspect, but a lifestyle that includes work, health, relationships, and self-development, so that discipline becomes the golden rule for every aspect of our lives. Chapter 12. Discipline in all areas of your life. Discipline is not a temporary skill or behavior applied in only one aspect of your life. It is a lifestyle that can include everything: your work, your health, your relationships, and even your personal development. When discipline turns into a fixed rule, every aspect of your life becomes clearer, more effective, and more inner peace. At work, discipline is commitment to tasks, managing time intelligently, and completing projects, no matter the circumstances. A disciplined person does not wait for inspiration to begin. Rather, it begins with consistent and continuous action that achieves tangible results day after day. This practical power opens the doors to sustainable success in health, discipline, taking care of your body and mind, exercising regularly, and eating what benefits you, even when you feel lazy or busy. Small habits here make a big difference: daily walks, drinking water, and regular sleep. These are all daily actions that translate into energy and vitality that last throughout your life. In relationships, discipline appears in keeping promises, being obedient, and giving attention consciously. Committing to good behaviors towards others enhances trust and creates strong and sustainable bonds instead of relationships relying on mood or momentary feelings only. As for self-development, discipline is what makes learning a daily habit: reading, training, deep thinking, meditation. These small but repeated practices make the difference between someone who remains at the same level and someone who is constantly evolving. When a person combines discipline in all these areas, he feels in control of his life, his decisions become conscious, and his actions are consistent with his goals and values. Discipline here is not a burden, but a framework that creates true freedom and removes the chaos resulting from laziness and distraction. With this understanding, we arrive to the final stage of our journey. You are the disciplined person, a new story for your life. Here we will gather everything we have learned and see how commitment and discipline turn into your new identity, and how to start writing the chapters of your life with your actions, not your excuses or fleeting feelings. Before we conclude this audiobook, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to receive all new audiobooks. The Audiobooks magazine channel is growing and developing thanks to you, so be a member of a community that loves reading and self-development. Chapter 13, You Are the Disciplined Person. A new story for your life. Everything you have read and learned in this book is not aimed at mere knowledge, but rather at transforming you into a different person, a person who chooses action before feeling and continues despite all difficulties and turns discipline into a habit and an identity. Now is the time to write a new chapter for your life, a chapter in which every day begins with your words and actions, not with your excuses or hesitation. You are the person who refuses to be a hostage to fleeting motivation or temporary feelings. Every small step, every repeated habit, every daily victory writes a new story about a person who challenges himself and creates his future with his own hands. It is no longer just a dream, but a reality that your daily practice can achieve. Discipline is not a burden, but rather true freedom. The freedom to control your time, your decisions, and your dreams. Every moment you choose action instead of waiting. Every time you overcome excuses, you build an inner strength that no external pressure can defeat. Remember that life is not perfect, and that every achievement begins with an incomplete step. Continuity is more important than perfection, and small victories are. That makes a big difference in the long run. With every daily action, you plant the seeds of your future success and prove to yourself that you are capable of commitment and success. This is your new identity, a person who is disciplined in his work, his health, his relationships, and in developing himself. A person who knows that discipline under pressure, smart rewards, and daily rituals are all tools for creating a better version of himself. A cohesive, stable, and effective version. Now it is time for practical application. Start with one step today, no matter how small, and repeat it tomorrow and the day after. Write your own success story and make every day a chapter that adds to your personality and brings you closer to your goals. Do not wait for the feeling, but create it by action, and allow your discipline to be the guide of your journey. Finally, remember that you are the disciplined person. Every decision, every action, every habit is part of your new life story. Make it a story of pride, make it a story of strength, make it an ongoing story in which your will is not broken, no matter the challenges. Life is written by action, and discipline is the pen that writes the best chapters. We hope from the bottom of our hearts that the Audiobook magazine has left a good impact on your lives, and that it will be a help to you on the path to understanding, maturity, and change. For the best, we always strive to provide you with useful content that is close to your hearts, and we ask God to make it sincere for His sake. Do not forget us in your prayers, for with your prayers we derive the strength to continue and give.